Hi there, ready to dive into the fascinating world of Kubernetes architecture? Let's take a closer look to each component and see what they do. User interface is a web-based graphical interface that allows users to interact with and manage the Kubernetes cluster with a more user-friendly and visual way. kubectl is the official command line tool for interacting with Kubernetes clusters. You can manage Kubernetes resources, including creating or deleting pods, deployments, services, and more. User interface and kubectl will let you to interact with the Kubernetes control plane in different ways. Control plane is the core set of components responsible for managing the Kubernetes cluster and maintaining the desired system state, also known as the cluster's brain. API server is the central control point and the only entry that allows to interact with the cluster. Scheduler is responsible for placing pods on cluster nodes, taking into account resource requirements, node availability, and pod affinity and affinity rules for optimal pod placement. Control Manager is responsible for managing multiple controllers, handling specific tasks, and maintaining the desired state of the cluster. For example, controllers for managing replica sets, deployments, services, or endpoints. etcd is a distributed key value to store and manage the cluster's configuration data. It stores information about all the resources in the Kubernetes cluster, such as pods, services, deployments, and more. So far, we have seen the parts of the control plane and how we can interact with these components. Now we will see the relationship with the worker nodes. Kubelet is an agent that runs on each worker node and manages the containers and pods on that node. It communicates with a control plane API server to receive instructions and manifest for pod scheduling and resource allocation. Container runtime is the software responsible for running and managing containers on the worker node. Kubernetes supports various container runtimes such as Docker, Containerd, and others. kubeproxy is a network proxy that runs on each worker node and maintains network rules to forward traffic to the appropriate pods based on service definitions. Pods are the smallest deployable unit in Kubernetes. Pods represents the application running processes on the worker node. Each pod can contain one or more containers that share the same network namespace, allowing them to communicate with each other using localhost. The entire Kubernetes architecture looks like this, and it includes many more components beyond these basics. I hope you enjoyed this mini tutorial.